Welcome to Impact Farming, where we introduce you to the people and ideas that will have a massive impact on your farming operation. Brought to you by Farm Marketer. Sit down, start the engine, and let's roll with today's show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Impact Farming Show. Today, we're chatting with Felix about precision farming in this special Innovation in Agriculture series on the Impact Farming Show. Welcome, Felix. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Good. I'm so happy to have you on the show. Felix, you have successfully farmed in the past and now provide farmers with innovative product solutions for precision farming through your company, Ag Business and Crop. Before we dive in, can you tell us a little bit more about you, your background, and your companies?
Well, I farmed for over 20 years myself. For me, precision farming started with the yield monitor in the early 80s. That technology still not like I used a yield monitor at that time. And that technology still, I think, not totally used to the full capacity as what it could be. But my interest was I was soil sampling based on the data and got the results. And that's what kind of started to interest me in the whole precision ag. I farmed on my own, so I was always open to cost-effective solutions that increased my productivity. The consulting led me to the drone, looking at it to get better, use it as a better scouting tool.
Felix, let's chat about precision agriculture to set the stage for the conversation. If someone on the street asks you, or better yet, a farmer at a farm show, how would you define precision agriculture?
Precision agriculture to me is to do what we already do, just more precisely, using verified data that has been collected from various sources to support management decisions and to support management productivity.
Okay, excellent. Short, sweet, simple. I like it. Your interest and expertise lies in precision agriculture products. And I personally, as a business owner, I'm always intrigued to the why behind a business. People tend to launch a business for several reasons. They're passionate about it, there's a new need, or they can see a better way to provide a product or service to improve on. How did your interest in precision agriculture begin?
Well, I would say the passion is certainly the first one. What I learned on my own fields with the data collected and how the perception was different from the outcome was exciting to me.
Nice. Okay, so we're going to dive in. And I know your products that you offer to farmers fall under three main categories from my understanding. So you have soil samplers, software, and drones. We're going to talk about all three today. Do you want to start with the Wintex Soil Samplers and share more about that product?
Sure. So the Wintex is an automated soil sampler. The soil sampler spray, and through that, it brings consistency, reliable data that can be compared from one year to the next. And with that, I can build trend lines. So because they're consistent, right? Consistent in depth, consistent with volume of sample that I'm taking. So there is no part of the sample being thrown away. So consistency. It comes back to the word precision at the end of the day. The soil sample saves time, and it's easy on those that are doing the sampling and gives them more confidence at the end with the data.
Okay, excellent. I was checking them out on your website. And for you guys in the audience, I'm just going to make a note here that all the products that we're talking to about Felix today, we will link out. So if you're going, this is amazing, you can just pop down to the bottom of the show notes and we'll link out to every one of those. So you can go over to the website, see pictures and all the information there. Okay, I had to share that, Felix. So Here's the big question that I always hear from farmers, okay? Because they go, yeah, all this new tech stuff, but here's the question. How does a farmer make a return on that investment?
The person that samples is able to do more, collect more samples a day, because you don't empty the probe every time. It throws it right into the bucket. It's not as hard physically to sample, and therefore the person is less tired at the end of the day.
Okay.
The end user gets the value that it's consistent data. So, and there's the confidence behind it. We have clients that advertise input yielders that advertise that they have a Wintex Soil Sampler because it gives confidence to the data.
Okay, excellent. And that's important. Where is this product being used now? You have clients using this. Where are they all using it?
Well, the Wintex is manufactured in Denmark and is used worldwide. And we have a map on our website where our clients are, but the clients are mostly consultants, independent consultants, or input dealers, anybody that does soil sampling as a business, like for other people, and then larger farmers.
Okay.
The reason why I have it on the website is because if you're a farmer that doesn't want to buy their own soil sampler, you have potentially the opportunity to look at, there is a soil sampler close to us, and let's find them, or they call us and ask where is it, so they can hire somebody that has a Wintex.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so that is soil samplers. I'm excited to chat about drones. So unless you have anything to add about the soil samplers, let's dive in to the drones. I'm excited about this part. Can you tell us about the drones that you guys offer?
Well, first of all, drones are exciting. It's a big subject, and it still is. I mean, I've been in it for 10 years now, or over 10 years. It's still a market that evolves with different products and different way of using a drone. So, and let's start with the part that we don't want to talk about too much, and that's the regulations. So before anybody buys a drone, look into what the regulations are. Right, you have to have a license to fly it. There is some specific regulation based on what drone are you using. And right away, on our website, there is on agbusiness.ca, there is a page specifically dedicated to the regulations if you want to know more.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So, do you want to talk about the return on data? Do you get the data back quickly? Is that where you wanted to go? Yeah. Okay.
So, and I maybe forgot to say that we work with professional drones. So we're not just using pictures to look at. We digitalize the information. And so that's where the return comes from, right? That you can digitalize and then walk the field, as an example, based on that information. So when you walk the field based on that information, and you look at crop health with the specific cameras or with the specific extraction, you see crop health and as an example. And when you walk it, you know where to walk to. You have an idea how big that area is affected. So it's time saving from a walking perspective. With working with the digital data can be also used for ground sprayers afterwards, because most sprayers have that capability today to load on a map and apply on the go on a variable basis, or use it as data for the application drone. So if you have a sprayer drone or an application drone, I prefer to say application drone because generally we can also apply seed or fertilizer with it. you can use that data to apply in certain areas more or less, or just apply in specific areas.
You're right. Drones are exciting. I don't know if it still brings out our inner child. It's not a toy by any means.
No, well, it can be, but it used properly.
Yes.
And use the right drones. It really brings back value.
Okay, perfect. So that's where I want to go next. What are the benefits of application drones?
Okay, and you hit it on the nail in a way, because the spray that application drones are direct return in a way that you can use it right away. It's a little bit harder with a mapping drone because you don't have you don't know what the outcome is. With the application drone, you know what the outcome is. You're basically using it directly for a specific purpose. So you can apply in conditions where you wouldn't be able to apply with ground equipment because it's too wet, or you don't want to drive through the field and damage crop. And that could be, if corn is in tassel, or if a canola field that is, where you don't have trim lines. And you can apply in specific areas only without having to drive in the field. And that could be small areas where there is a huge amount of weed pressure, or there is a huge amount of pressure, stress to the plant, and help that during the crop year.
Okay. That is so cool. So application drones, bear with me, Felix. You can do seed, you can do fertilizer, and you can do your inputs in them. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. And that this is, it's just starting right now, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I said at the beginning with the regulations, there is certain limitations at this point, but that's going to be opening up as we go. And we've seen that with drones in general. When I started in 2010, Transport Canada didn't even necessarily know. Like every area was different, because they had to look at we did an SFOC. We applied for an SFOC, and every officer looked at it a little bit different from a regulations perspective. In 2018, it became much clearer. Now, from Transport Canada's perspective, it's much more of a clear guide of what is allowed and what is not allowed. And I know there's going to be a change in the next couple of years again, and it's going to open it up even more. But it's an evolving thing, especially right now. But it's still new for a lot of their industry.
Excellent. I'm excited in just 1 second to ask you about some of the details. I had a question to ask you about the environments, and I know you touched on that earlier. Do you want to chat about what type of environments application drones would be valuable for? Do you want to go into that deeper, or did you cover?
No, I think it's good to say that each area, and when you look across Canada, each area is a little bit different, right? You got large fields out west, and so the environment is much different than it will be in Ontario, where we have smaller fields in comparison. And the use is going to be different because of that, right? Out west, you may use it more. Instead of applying the whole field, you're using it more for specific area, to treat specific areas. Where here in Ontario, it's much easier to apply for the whole field from a times perspective, right? And it brings more value. Like, time is value, or there's a cost behind that. And then the horticulture is going to be different than field crops. Like, as an example, in horticulture spray, when you use it for the top, to spray it on top of the tree, down where, as an example, corn in tasseling would be the same thing. From a fungicide's perspective, it's a crop that's harder to get into, right? Or in wheat and canola during flowering, the flowering is variable through the field. So you may say, I'm going to apply it to, when you have a additional map again, I'm going to program it. It's only going to apply for this area right now. When in 2 days, I'm going to go back and apply it to the rest.
Okay.
So,
That's fantastic.
I can use it in situations, that have less compaction. It can be more economical from a chemical use because you're only doing specific areas. There are other places where I also can see it is probably parks. Parks are sprayed right now with helicopters, low-flying helicopters. That's a risk to the pilot, and they could potentially be risk, when you kind of read the news sometimes, and I'm a pilot as well. You read it in Transport Canada's accident reports. It is a higher risk to use a manned aircraft if you go that low.
Yeah, absolutely. That's neat. Okay, so that's the environment. Now, I know many farmers are probably going, okay, what are the details of the performance? So let's chat performance, runtime, efficiency. Share all the good details for myself and our audience, Felix.
I will try. All might be a little bit much.
Okay, maybe not all.
I can touch on it.
Okay, perfect.
Touch on it. And I would say right up front that each drone is going to be different, right? Our mapping drone, as an example, will fly up to 1.5 hours. So depending which model you buy, an hour and a half, we can cover 400 acres, up to 1,200 acres with one battery in 1.5 hours. So, when you look at and this is a fixed wing. So when you look at a quadcopter, you need to have a large battery, a large unit to be able to capture large acreages, which if you have to switch batteries all the time and you can do small batteries, it's much more time consuming. And their idea is that you get something flown very quickly, get the data back, and then walk the fields based on it as an example. So depending which drone you're using, and I hope I kind of, a lot of the small drones might fly, like quadcopters fly half an hour. So that just kind of gives you, from a mapping perspective, there's differences there. Then you could go to spray drones. Yeah, you are not going to fly as long. You have to refill the tanks all the time. So the battery life is more geared to how many acres you can spray. And we have different models. When you go to a small model and do, a couple of acres, where you can go up to 7 acres in one spray tank. You're using a lot lower rates, mixture rates on a higher concentration at that point. And just to caution, the spraying part is the one that really has to develop yet from a regulations perspective.
Okay. Excellent. Anything else to add there? I want to chat with you about some software solutions as well. So I'll give you a final spot to talk about the drones. This is so cool. I got to say something, Felix. Okay. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I don't even know when they started the first little drones that we could fly for like 2 minutes. Who would ever think that you could be applying product to a field? It's unbelievable. I wonder what 5 years and 10 years holds from now. What's going to be, what these drones will be, right? Like what they are now, the future.
That's exactly the question, right? As I say, in earlier 2000s, when I started, I thought I was very excited about the fact that I can fly this. And I mean, I'm not an RC pilot by any means, but the drones are designed today from an operational perspective that you don't have to be an RC pilot. They're designed with their idea behind that this is going to be an operator that needs either data or wants to apply something, and because it's not hobby anymore, so they don't have to be RC pilots, and it's more like it's as long as you can operate a software, they probably can operate it.
Good. Okay. Well, that was exciting. I have been waiting for this interview to talk to you about the soil samplers are fantastic, but Felix, I must say, I was really excited to talk to you about these drones, and I know everybody in our audience will be. And again, reminder, everybody, I will put links. Go to Farm Marketer, Impact Farming, find the episode, and then click to Felix's website and then look at all the different information there. It's so cool. Anyways, okay, Felix, if you don't have anything further to add about drones, I'm going to ask you about software solutions for farmers and their precision agriculture needs. Can you tell us more about your software?
The software that we sell is mainly connected to the hardware that we're selling. So it's from an operations perspective to what the drones can do, operating and working with the data afterwards. As an example, wherever there is other software needed, we work with other suppliers to help those people, because we're specializing in an area where it's very specific, and want to make sure that the client gets the best, support afterwards. Support is very, very important to us. And for me, as an example, record keeping is very high. We have to do better record keeping on a daily basis, field by field, zone by zone, and it becomes more important as we go on with the regulations that are coming out. In future, we probably need that historical information with programs on the farm. And besides it, we want to know what the production cost is. What is our bushel production cost going to cost us to market that crop with a profit? If margins are getting tighter, we have to know more about, where is my break-even point? And that software is more where I get somebody in, because there's so many options. And a lot of times it depends with whom you're working. If that's your consultant, your input dealer, or so on, and what you're producing, you kind of want to adapt to that specific software that they're using, that it is easy to transfer information with them.
Okay, perfect. Well, and that's noteworthy too. You work with the farmers and you can help bridge that gap there, right?
Yes. And as I say, where we don't, we just bring somebody in that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm glad you touched on software. That is important. And especially like you just said, and with the cost, everything's getting more and more expensive. We need to just sharpen those pencils more and more. So tools can help us do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you are involved in agriculture all your life, and you've been helping farmers with precision agriculture solutions. This episode's been exciting. I love innovation. Can you share some final thoughts with our audience about the value of precision agriculture products?
Well, I think the first thing that comes to my mind is the conservation and caring for the soil and being an environmental steward.
Yeah.
It certainly plays a big role, and that's what's being asked by, from our production's perspective. And the more we can show how we produce, not necessarily sharing the data, but knowing what we're doing, I think that's a perception from the outside is going to change. Protecting from nutrient escapes is helping everybody, and including the farmer. Like it's a cost. So the 4 R's: right source, right grade, right time, right place. So if we look at that, the precision farming fits right in there. Soil is finity, and we're anticipating. We're anticipating we will have to expand more and more details with the data collection and recording it as the future goes on. Yeah. And then at the end, being more productive and with our resources.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, that has been fantastic. I loved hearing about the products. I loved hearing your thoughts on precision agriculture. If there are people in the audience that want to know more, as I mentioned, I'll link it. But are your products available on your website to buy, and can they be shipped across Canada? Can you touch a little bit more about that?
Well, we that they're precision tools. They're more specific to certain uses. So it's not like you go on our website and click on it. I want to buy this, pay by, and go. We have a website and constantly update that with our products that you can compare the tools and pick out the right one that you use. But generally, everybody connects with us, and we'll make sure that we got the right tool for them, and that they understand how the tool is working. So there is tools on there to compare, and we're building the websites all the time and expanding on it as products are expanding.
You're right. It's probably a little more complicated than, okay, I want that one, right? You list all the products with information. They can get in touch with you, because it's not like buying a book on Amazon. It's not that.
No, and that's a little bit of a reason why we also tried to build more dealers across Canada. We have a dealer in Quebec now. We got somebody that is working with us in Saskatchewan. So we're kind of expanding that part. Having said that, we were able in the past to do good support even online because of the videos that we're producing and helping, and it wasn't a big issue. But I think it helps if somebody can talk to somebody close. I totally understand that. The problem is, sometimes from a knowledge perspective, it is, when something actually happens, you want to make sure that person is very knowledgeable, and we do a lot of support that way.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so then one final call out. If people are interested in learning more about your products, where can they go? What is your website?
So the overall website is it's agbusiness.ca, and it has different links to different products. So what we did is we built a website for WintexAgroCanada.com to be specific about the Wintex, because if you're interested in the Wintex, that goes really into details. And so we have different websites for different products. We're connected to different companies as well. Like I'm part owner of Carta Canada, and so that has its own website. And we're right now building a website just for the spray drones. Again, very specific if that's what you're interested. It helps us to be less, it's easier to find information if you do it. We hope it's easier to find the information the way we're designing the websites.
Yeah.
That's probably the main source for most people today, where they get their information.
I went on your website. It was easy to find, lots of great information on there. And again, one final reminder, if you're watching, you can go to Farm Marketer, Impact Farming, find the episode, and go down in the show notes, and we'll link to the website so that you can just click over and learn more about the products. Felix, this has been a lovely chat. I've really enjoyed it. I will give you one last spot to say a farewell and any parting words. Otherwise, we will wrap up.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. I enjoyed that, and it was great to talk to you. And hopefully, I'm going to talk to more people, and they give me a call, and I'm happy to explain what we're doing and answer questions. So all the information is on our website if you want to contact us, but it's Ag Business and Crop Inc., and the website is agbusiness.ca.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, Felix. I really enjoyed this, and you in the audience. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed all this good stuff as much as I did, and I look forward to seeing you on next week's episode. Bye, guys.
You've been listening to Impact Farming. For more great episodes and articles designed to help you manage and grow your farming operation, head on over to farmmarketer.com. Don't forget to sign up while you're there. We will see you on the next episode.